G'day guys, how's it going? Okay, so, sorry, I didn't get my page organised before I turned on my microphone. Alrighty, did you see that? That was for you. I think it's Shirley, maybe it's not. Someone keeps telling me, Karen, you keep cutting on top of your Teflon mat. I did it again. Can you believe I did it again? Okay, so I'm using my, but I digress. Okay, so I'm using the HEIDI SWAPP DREAMY collection. I'm also using my Creative Memories HEXI shapes. I don't know what we call them. Can't remember what they're called. But you can buy these through Creative Memories. I'm pretty sure they still have the same cutting system. You have 3 different blades. You have red, green, and blue if you're not familiar with them. And you can cut, each blade cuts further in. So red cuts it almost right next to the tool, the shape. And then it goes out to the green and then out to the blue. So you get 3 different sizes inside and out on all your shapes. So you can cut things a little bit differently. Now the reason I pulled these out is because, one, they're in my collection and I haven't used them in forever. And, you know, they weren't cheap back in the day. I think I've had my cutting systems for, nearly 20 years. Yep, about that. So, and these are the Creative Memories hexagon punches. So I was obviously feeling hexis this day, so when I created this layout, and I love this yellow paper. It is just gorgeous. I love yellow, I've got to tell you. I don't dress my children in yellow, but I love using yellow as a scrapbook medium, whether it's paint, whether it's paper, whether it's sprinkly bits. I love yellow. It's so happy. It's such a happy colour. So, did I just give you a heart attack? Because I just ripped the centre straight out of that paper. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I've just done 3 voiceovers. So my voice is getting croaky and I apologise and I will stop after this one. Okay, so I'm just roughing up the edges. This is a layout that I just grabbed a few different bits and pieces, cut out some shapes. Could I have used my Cricut for this? Absolutely. Could I have found a cut file for this and done it that way? Absolutely. Could I have probably just drawn them by hand if I didn't have the tools and cut them out? Sure you can. Why not? It takes a little bit more work, but all you really need is a ruler and a pencil. You can do it yourself, you know. So I think this is a page that anyone can do, whether you've got the tools or not. If you don't have this little distressing tool that I have in my hand at the moment, use the edge of your scissors. A lot of people open their scissors up and drag them along. I don't like doing that because see how I'm just using the edge of my scissors? I find I don't rip the heck out of the paper as much if I do that. If it's a heavy cardstock, and I don't want to blunten my scissors. So those little tiny scissors, I've had them for so long. I don't even know where I got them anymore, but they were my fussy cutting scissors for so very long. But the problem I had with them is now I have rheumatoid arthritis and I have fibromyalgia. My nerves don't do well to being, you know, when you're cutting with your scissors and your fingers go numb because you're getting in there and you've cut so many and you don't realise. Well, my nerves in my hands don't come back too nicely from that. So I try to not do that. I use my distressing tool here and there. I use my scissors. See how I'm just using the outside of them? And that works, not a problem. So yeah, so all I'm doing is just roughing up the edges of the hexis. So I know the ones that I used from the cutting system have more of a curved edge on them compared to the ones in the punch that I've punched out. And I've punched a 3/4 inch, a 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, and a 1 1/2 inch. So they're just all varying in size. And with this layout, I'm not giving it too much thought. I know I just put that down a little bit, but it's because I wanted that section of the paper in the background. for my border. So that totally works. I wasn't too worried about using scissors for my border cutting because I'm trying to show you guys that this particular page you can do quite easily without any tools, really. Just some scissors and a pencil and a ruler, you could do this. Okay, so it's at this point that I went, actually at this point I'm getting into, and I have started watching a new, what's it called? Game of Thrones. That's what I'm watching. It's not new. I've been watching House of Dragon, and it's on Foxtel at the moment, and I am sold. I am hook, line and sinker into that show. And everyone kept saying it's the same as Game of Thrones. It's the same as Game of Thrones. And I'm thinking, I never really felt the need to watch Game of Thrones when it first came out. It wasn't something that I enjoyed, that sort of thing. I personally, I'll give you a little bit of insight to me. I personally like, I like comedies. I like a good rom-com. I love Christmas movies. I watch during December. You guys will, mid-November onwards, I start watching Christmas movies. So I will start letting you know. If you're interested, let me know below. I watch Christmas movies while I scrap, and it keeps me in a happy place, and I absolutely love it. So that I do constantly, but now I'm currently getting into Game of Thrones. So I'm just going to power watch my way through that. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm using my TCW, the Crafters Workshop, light and fluffy modeling paste. I bought some modeling paste. If you want to hear a review on these modeling pastes, I bought a few different items and I've done a review on them. So I did the light and fluffy modeling paste versus the one that I normally use, which is the Montmart one. So all I'm doing here is adding some cracked pistachio distress oxide color to the light and fluffy texture paste, and I'm just adding some texture to these HEXIs. That's all I'm doing, to add an extra element to the page, because it really is quite a simple page. So you can go to town with all these extra little bits. Now, the one thing I've noticed with the Crafters Workshop light and fluffy modeling paste, it dries super quick. It is actually a little bit more gritty than I'm used to. I usually use, as you probably know if you've seen any of my other videos, I use Montmart modeling paste, and I love that because it's buttery, silky smooth. So I sort of wasn't too sure when I opened it up, and it was a bit gritty. So, but I do like it. I prefer the modeling paste from Montmart is more opaque compared to the fluffy one. So yeah, I don't know, but go and watch my review. I will end up using all of them. I won't be wasting any of them. And I did notice that this one, the Crafters Workshop modeling paste, really dries super, super quick. So I will be interested to see how it lasts in the jar because it dries so quickly. I wonder what kind of longevity I'll get out of the jar. And it's a much smaller jar for about the same price. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going through adding these. So I went through and put the cracked pistachio fluffy, light and fluffy modeling paste. And now I'm just coming back over and adding some white, just white on its own, to see if that gives me a two-toned look. What it actually ended up doing was the white, where it came in contact with the cracked pistachio, it drew some of that color into it. So it doesn't stay completely white, but you know, I like it. It's very easy to use, and this stencil that I'm using, I would love to tell you what it is, but I haven't got a clue. I know it came from Kaisercraft. That I can tell you 100%. I have had it in my collection now for probably, I'd have to say a couple of years, 3 maybe years, maybe 4. I'm not sure exactly, but before I started even thinking about doing YouTube, I would just pull everything out of the packets and add them to my own containers. And I never wrote any names of anything down because I never thought I'd ever need to know where I got something from. So that is why I can't tell you where it came from. I can tell you it came from Kaisercraft because it's the same Kaisercraft green as my other Kaisercraft stencils. So I know I got it from there, but that's okay. Now, I'm drying this off so I can just use it very, very quickly. But to be quite honest with you, it dried. There was only one that was a little bit tacky. That one there. It was still a little bit tacky. And I think that's because the 2 layers on top of each other were a bit much. But it was totally fine. Dried super quick. So I just put the same stencil through the center there in between the papers. And I'm just adding, no rhyme or reason, just popping them on there. No big deal. Now, on this layout, I do actually do some splatters, guys. I am not a big, if you're new to my channel, I'm not big on splatters. I like a very controlled splat. Therefore, I prefer to use liquid pearls or the Nuvo drops, Nuvo crystal drops, something like that. I'm not big on just willy-nilly splashing, but this page I felt comfortable enough to do it right at the very end, so I did that. Now, it's a gold splatter. I'll let you know in advance. It's a gold splatter, and when I do gold and I want to do something like that, I actually reach for it's EC and it's drawing ink, and I've got it in gold. I bought mine from Officeworks. I've got a black and I've got gold, and you don't get a ring around it. It stays perfect gold because it's designed for like calligraphy, and it's perfect, and it's only about $6. So if you're looking for a really nice gold that you can flick, and it is gorgeous, and it's ready to go. It sticks. You don't have to mix, you don't have to get your gum arabic and mix it and all that sort of thing with your mica powders and all that sort of. If you're not into that, get yourself some ink because it works perfectly. Now, I did raise my photo up on a little bit of foam, and I'm just attaching these little guys down. So, like I said, no rhyme or reason. I've roughed up all the edges. I'm just going around and putting them down in random spots. And yeah, the photo is just purely my daughter hugging a puppy. So it's gorgeous, little cattle dog. So, now, what else can I tell you? I did pop, okay, I meant to, sorry, I was thinking then. Could you hear the cogs turning? It's first thing in the morning and my brain's going, ugh. It's like, some days your brain's just firing on all cylinders, and then some days you just, whoa, it takes a little bit to get your brain working. Okay, so if you're a regular on my channel, you will probably know that I had an iron infusion last week, and wow, it has kicked in and I feel like a new person. So I'm absolutely wrapped. Thank goodness. Should have done it ages ago, but I'm always anemic. My body doesn't absorb iron, full stop. It's pretty bad. So yeah, did that, got that. What else can I tell you about my crazy life? This week it's been wet and miserable and rainy. I don't know if it's going to rain too much today. I think it's going to be all right. But I did put something, if you're on the Facebook group, I did pop something up this morning and asking how much is your diesel in your area, because holy quackamoses, let me tell you, I just make up random words sometimes too, by the way. Okay, so 243. Oh wow, is that a gallon? No, Sandy, that's not a gallon, mate. That's a litre. So it's not. It's not a gallon. It's crazy. And Bobby's let me know that I think she's in Minnesota, so she's paying $5.25. I assume that's a gallon. I don't know the difference between a gallon and a litre. I really don't. So I plead the fifth on that one. Unleaded's $3.75. Whoa. Okay, so to give you a little bit of Steph's 243. I know you're near me, Steph, so I know our prices are. So obviously we're about to go up to that, because yesterday I went out past the servo a couple of times, and every time I went past the servo, the damn diesel had gone up another, a whole other cent, whole extra cent, and you normally go past the servo on the way to school, and it might be like $2.20 or something, and that entire day it pretty much stays that. Well, yesterday it went from 231 to 233 to 234. Then I went out again and it went up to 235, and I'm like, you are kidding me. And now it's up to 239. It's like, how is that possible? Like, it just so yeah, it's crazy. So I'm literally communicating to people on Facebook as I'm saying this to you now. So this is me responding to you, Sandy and Sandy May and Steph. It is insane. I don't know how families are coping with these prices. I'm struggling. I'm a Scrooge. And to give you a heads up for anyone overseas. So in Australia, our towns are not right next to each other. So if I want to go, so I live in Caboolture, right? Where the grass is greener, if you remember the ad from years ago. Now, for us to go into Brisbane, which is our closest capital city to us, right? That's an hour. My husband drives to the south side every day for work, right? So he does 100 kilometres ish a day. I think it's about 105 a day. So for us, paying that amount for diesel is insane. He's got a Commodore, so he's on unleaded, and we do have a Costco membership, so he lines up at Costco along with the rest of Southeast Queensland, mind you, and it does save us a little bit. So it costs us like $55 for our membership, and then we save that in diesel or petrol. For Darren, we get that $55 back in one fill. So it's totally worth going there. But for me to get to Costco, I use, because Costco from me is about a 20-minute drive, 20-minute drive. So I've got to drive for almost, 40 minutes, 45 minutes just to fill up my tank. So that sort of seems counterintuitive. But now here's me with my gold ink splatters. I'm just chucking them on there now. I'll stop talking about fuel. And this is my close-up, everybody. So if you aren't a part of the Facebook group, that is in the description below. Click on the link, jump over there and join in the conversations. It's all random stuff over there and lots of close-up photos. And if you aren't already a subscriber, I'd love to have you join my little channel. I do pop up 6 videos a week. Sometimes you get extra little bonus ones. This week you'll get some bonus ones as well. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching as I pull off that tiny bit of dried ink. And look at all that texture. Isn't it awesome? It's texture, but it's not adding too much bulk to your album. That's what I try and do every so many pages. I try and do a couple of layouts that are quite flat so that my albums last me a little bit longer. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will chat to you again soon. Bye for now.